Hello Constellation, welcome to Starchaeology Tarot, home to tarot readings for anyone ready to dig deep and break inner ground. I'm Desi, I'm your Starchaeologist, aka tarot reader, and I'm so grateful that you are here. First off, I wanted to do a spread about hope for the hopeless because I myself am in a place right now where I am feeling very hopeless. And I thought the best way to combat this head on would be to be of service to other people who may be feeling like me right now. So we have a beautiful star-led spread today, a hope forward spread. And my intention with this is to instill some hope, to plant some seeds of hope back into you, into your life, so that you are able to muster up the courage to keep going and hopefully enjoy the present moment and feel grateful for it as you do so. If you are hoping to receive blessings with this reading, I ask that you please start by giving a blessing. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel right now. Give the abundance you wish to receive, a basic law of the universe. Thank you so much. So take a moment and see which pile calls to you, which card calls to you. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Don't overthink it. Once you've decided, you can use the timestamps below to jump to the reading of your choice. Hello, beautiful constellation that chose card number 1, deck number 1. This is the Trip and Wait Tarot Stars edition. It's a really beautiful psychedelic 60s themed deck. So constellation number 1, please set your intention as I shuffle. I'm going to call in your guides, call in spirit, call in your angels. We are looking today for words of encouragement, affirmation, words to uplift, words to heal. We're looking for a glimpse into a potential future that helps give constellation number 1 strength to keep moving forward, courage to keep moving forward. Something to hope for, and a reason to hope, a really strong, valid, potential reason to hope. Oh my goodness. Wow, okay, so 4 of Wands, first card, Knight of Wands, thank you, the Guru. Okay, this is a good place to start. So an area of your life that is kind of out of alignment right now is this 4 of Wands area, meaning for some of you this is very literal. This is something around the topic of engagement or a honeymoon phase, or making some kind of commitment in your life, particularly one regarding love. That, in a more literal way, needs to be brought into harmony and alignment. There's something in that realm that's out of alignment with you. In a more broad understanding of this card, what's out of alignment is a sense of security, a sense of stability. You know, having these all 4 corners supported in your life right now. Maybe you don't really have that sense of security, you don't have a sense of stability, and it's very much out of alignment with you being your best self. It's hard for you to feel aligned without this kind of balance. Also, 4 of Wands literally means harmony, so it's funny to be in this position of what's out of harmony. It's like saying what's out of harmony, what's out of alignment is harmony in your life, meaning that maybe there's conflict happening. You don't feel harmonious with the people who you love. You don't feel harmonious in your home or in your community. You maybe feel out of place. You feel like an outsider. You feel like there's something wrong with you, or that you don't belong. Like a sense of belonging is completely missing. So that's a really tough place to be in, and I have a lot of empathy for you, cluster one, who chose this deck number one, because that doesn't feel like, I can see how that doesn't feel like a small fix. It feels that it can feel really overwhelming. This is what gives you the reason to hope, and this is really, really inspiring, actually. First of all, for some of you, this is a Knight of Wands who is coming into your life, something to hope for. So when you say you feel out of alignment with people in your life, if you feel not harmonious, or you feel like that the love specifically is insecure or unstable right now in your life, that might be ameliorated by a Knight of Wands coming in to quote unquote save the day. Now, I know this kind of subscribes to really old and maybe outdated patriarchal concepts of being someone who needs saving as opposed to saving yourself, but I'm going to get to some other interpretations here. It could just be something as simple as someone is coming into your life who's going to bring a sense of energy, passion, purpose, adventure, and action to really like help pull you out of it. Sometimes, it's great to save ourselves, but also there's nothing wrong with needing help from someone else sometimes. And so I'd like to turn that outdated, storytelling structure on its head, because I think now sometimes we veer too far in the direction of like, I am independent, I can do everything myself, blah, blah, blah. But that makes us sometimes puts a burden on us to be the only one to help ourselves at all times. And sometimes part of our growth means accepting help from other people, or allowing ourselves to be saved in some way. Ultimately, we are the ones who do the saving, because we are the ones who let a person like this in or not. Or we allow ourselves to be affected by what they have to teach us. It still ultimately always comes down to us. But if we are so prideful or so viciously independent that we're unable to even see the offerings and blessings that someone else brings into our lives, the help that they are willing to give us and even enthusiastic to give us, we end up missing out on these opportunities to help ourselves by letting ourselves be helped. So something to hope for is this Knight of Wands coming into your life. Now, this might, for others of you, this might not be someone else, like a literal other person. It could just be that what's coming into your life is a sense of energy renewed, passion renewed, a sense of purpose, a sense of adventure. Maybe right now there is no sense of adventure. There is no passion. There is no sense of purpose, and that's what's actually isolating you from your loved ones, from your community, from your family, and making you feel like an outsider, because you don't know what your purpose is right now, or you don't know what your mission is. You don't know what adventure you're on. You don't feel like maybe you are on an adventure, period. And so that's where that struggle is. This is a reason to have hope, that this is not, you aren't stagnant in this. This is a phase. It's a phase of insecurity, instability. And maybe part of your mission coming up is actually an adventure, an exciting adventure that's purpose-filled and passion-filled, to discover what gives you security and stability, to find what gives you that security and stability. And it may be you who's embodying this knight. It's you who maybe gets on the horse and feels a renewed sense of energy and vitality and curiosity. A big component of night energy is curiosity. It's really hard to help ourselves when we're not curious, when we're at that place that's so hopeless and so depressed that we are kind of numb to everything. It's like we don't feel well, but we are not actually seeking solutions. So if you find yourself to be in that place right now, cluster 1, have hope, because that curiosity is about to be injected back into your life. That sense of purpose is there for you. It's there to be chosen by you once again. It's waiting for you to be chosen. And you can muster up that energy and that zest for life and that sense of adventure, no matter what the adventure is. It's about the attitude you bring to it, and this Knight of Wands attitude is in you. It's within you, and whether you feel it now or it needs time to surface, if that makes sense. Something that you aren't seeing that affects this situation, a healing of vision is necessary here, because there's something that maybe you are not seeing, and this is a few different interpretations for different members of the constellation here. Once again, you have a mentor who's there, who's willing to guide you, a very clear mentor who maybe has walked this path before, who has been lost, who has struggled the same way that you struggled or in similar ways. And they offer a kind of spiritual wisdom, a tradition, a structure in navigating times of faithlessness, times of hopelessness, or the literal struggles that you have right now that are leading to this kind of faithlessness and hopelessness. But they're there, they're waiting for you. That structure is already in place, and for some reason you aren't registering it. What a blessing that's there already for you in your life that can help help bring this Knight of Wands energy back into your life and move you out of this temporary stagnation. There's also a community in this. So for those of you who felt an instability because there's a lack of community or a lack of harmony, or there's discord within your community, there is another community that actually you do fit into, and that you might fit into more at this moment in time. That community already exists. It's just up to you to recognize them and to bring yourself into that community, to introduce yourself into that community, as opposed to staying on the outskirts and saying, oh, nothing like this exists, or there is no place for me. There is a place for you. You just need to go on the adventure to find it, but it is there. And that's something that you also may not be seeing because it's outside of the boundaries of familiarity for you and your comfort zone. This might mean crossing the line out of your comfort zone to seek this kind of support and guidance, but it is there. So you can't say that it doesn't exist. Also, for some of you, the message here is what you're not seeing is the role that tradition plays, and for some of you, this is just certain members, what's coming through is that there is help and aid for you in looking to certain traditions, looking to the ways that people functioned in the past, whether it's your personal elders in your life or the more like colloquial, general definition of elders, our ancestors, people in ancient communities, the traditions and institutions that they put into place. Don't lose touch with these traditions, these old or ancient traditions, just because they're old. They still might have a place in modern society, in your modern life, for you personally. And there's a reason that they've lasted so long. Of course, this isn't every ancient institution, but there are elements of truth in different dogmas from different traditions and institutions. And there's a reason why those beliefs and that spiritual wisdom have withstood the test of time, because there is some kind of unifying truth in it. And that is also something that maybe you are not seeing because you think of it as being old and worth discarding. You're looking for some new quick fix or some new way of existing in the world, when really the truth is looking backwards, not necessarily looking forwards. Let's pull a few more cards here. We have the Queen of Swords. Okay, I want to clarify that. 9 of Swords right away. Ooh! Oh my gosh. 9 of Cups, and also the King of Cups flew out as well. Just gonna put him there. Wow. Healing of vision, healing of the heart. There's also a healing, an emotional healing that is in your heart that maybe you're not letting yourself feel. And or you are feeling it on such a subconscious level, but and you're not really aware of it. You're not consciously feeling your way through it. You're feeling it. It's affecting your life, but it's affecting the situation a great deal, but not in a way that you are conscious of. Queen of Swords. So you've been through a lot, Cluster One. Like, you have experiences that have been defining, painful experiences. And with those experiences especially, it's so important to allow ourselves to feel what those experiences, how those experiences affected us. Not bury them, because they are the fodder for wisdom. They are the fertilizer for wisdom. They are what allow us to invite life forward and go on new adventures. And when we don't allow ourselves to feel these things, we end up limiting ourselves from all the magic, harmony, stability, aid, help, teachings that could come to us in the future, because we're too busy protecting ourselves from our pasts that have already happened. Don't live your life from a place of protecting yourself from things you've already experienced. Instead, those experiences are badges of honor. Those experiences can potentially expand you, not contract you. And it's up to you how you let those experiences affect you. This is a card of pain transmuted into wisdom. That is what the Queen of Swords does best. It's what makes her a good ruler to herself and to her people. It's what makes her wise. It's what makes her just and fair and thoughtful. But this isn't a card that's dark and depressing. It's full of rainbows and butterflies, renewal, rebirth, transformation. Because that is what pain actually can do for us if we let it. And that is what your pain in your heart can do for you if you let it. Your heart wants to feel these things fully and completely so that your heart can be free of them once again, so that your heart can grow bigger instead of being contracted. It also is impeding your judgment. Queen of Swords, the reason why she lets herself feel things so that she can transmute that into wisdom is because unfelt feelings or feelings, suppressed feelings, affect our judgment. They affect our clear thinking, our direct communication, knowing of our clear boundaries. All of those get skewed when they are operating under the immense weight of pain and heartbreak. that we don't really let ourselves feel completely and process completely. Something here needs to be felt completely and processed completely, and there's nothing for you to be afraid of, cluster 1. There's nothing for you to be afraid of. I'm going to repeat that again because that is loud and clear. It's blasting. That is actually the key to your liberation. That's what can save you here. There's nothing to be afraid of, feeling what you need to feel. And welcoming the pain and heartbreak that have come from painful past experiences. This is very interesting. 9 of something that you can do to bring hope and healing and harmony into the lives of others, but also yourself, is by addressing intense anxiety that you turn maybe on yourself. And you can recognize this in other people as well. You can see when other people are doing this to themselves, what you have done to yourself. This is also a big clue that a big part of this for you, what your struggle is right now, is the card of anxiety and depression. It's a creation of your mind. It isn't a reflection of your reality. It's a reflection of how you think. And it's not strong enough to withhold intense scrutiny or curiosity or love. In fact, those thoughts can melt away like that as soon as you start to poke and prod at them. But as long as you cower in fear away from them, they hold their shape. They hold this menacing shape over you. And you become what they are made of, which is fear. If you are having a hard time pulling yourself out of this, one of the best things to do is help pull others out of it. And by doing so, you pull yourself out. Also really interesting to see the 9 of Cups come out with that, because there is some kind of wish fulfillment in that for you. And I wonder if this is a part of your missing sense of community and belonging, is whether you are being of service to other people. Because you are a helper. That's what I'm seeing here. There's something that is so fulfilling for you and makes you feel a sense of belonging when you are being of service to others, when you are helping someone else. That's almost like this magic genie, like unlocking key that unlocks, the secret to your complete emotional fulfillment and satisfaction. There is a real turnkey kind of happiness for you in that, in helping others deal with their anxiety and their negative thinking, and also helping yourself deal with that kind of anxiety and negative thinking. There's gratitude waiting for you in that. There's also incredible emotional intelligence waiting for you in that. You are so smart about your emotions. You have the potential to be so smart about your emotions, as long as you don't let them take the driver's seat, as long as you listen to them fairly, listen to them present their cases. And for those that aren't actually aligned with reality, still comfort those feelings from a place of empathy and understanding. You can comfort the fear in you. You can comfort the anxieties in you without validating them as the truth. This isn't binary. And that's a big part of you feeling hopeful again. I hope this was helpful, Cluster 1. What a powerful message for you today. And I hope this instilled some hope in you. You have a lot to be hopeful for. There's a great deal of healing available to you and a great deal of help available to you. And that includes actual wish fulfillment, contentment, satisfaction, gratitude, a dream come true, as well as a renewed sense of purpose, passion, mission, lust for life, adventure. Those are reasons to be hopeful. I love you very much. I'd like to hear from you if you feel called to share, so please don't be a stranger. Comment below. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you next time. Hello to those of you who chose card number 2, star number 2, from deck number 2. This is your reading to help replant seeds of hope in you, give you reasons to hope, give you reasons to feel positive, and give you strength and courage to keep moving forward. I'm calling in spirit, calling in source energy, calling in your guides, your angels, all the guides and angels of those in this collective constellation of beautiful stars who are listening to this reading. Wow, Knight of Wands. Give us a few more cards. Okay. Oops. Princess of Discs. Okay, this is plenty to start with. So, Knight of Wands. Okay. An area of your life that needs bringing into harmony is the area of action aligned with what you care about, your values, your purpose, your sense of mission. What's out of balance for you right now is your relationship to action that's fueled by true passion in your life, things that you actually feel energized to do. There's an imbalance here, which means that either you aren't doing this enough, or you are being impulsive in ways that you think satisfy this kind of passion and sense of purpose. But really they're reactive. They aren't these conscious gut decisions or actions, proactive actions. It kind of can be a combination of both of these things, right? Because if you deprive yourself of taking action that feels aligned with your sense of purpose, it would make sense that every once in a while you do something really impulsive to kind of make up for that. And either way, like, that doesn't solve this root problem of an absence of balance in you honoring where your mission and sense of purpose and values lead you. I'm hearing it, you're having a hard time walking through the fire. You're having a hard time following a passion, pursuing an adventure that you want to pursue. It could also be that you are having a hard time saying no to a kind of impulsiveness, a hasty impulsiveness that you're doing, again, reactively to try to make yourself feel better, but it ultimately doesn't make you feel better, and you continue to succumb to these kind of impulsive actions, almost as like band-aid actions to try to fix this bigger problem of a lack of balance regarding aligned action in your life. That's definitely a real struggle. 3 of Swords, I want to clarify this actually. Could we clarify this? Just like one more card to clarify. Wow, Queen of Swords, yep. A reason to hope. This is really a beautiful message. If you feel completely ruled by heartbreak right now, by past pain, sorrow, grief, a focus on loss, a focus on some kind of emotional pain that hurt you, betrayed you even. I think with the 3 of Swords, we often see a sense of betrayal. Some of you, it's a betrayal with a literal other person. Others of you, it's a feeling betrayed by life. Feeling betrayed by God, feeling betrayed by the universe, even feeling betrayed by yourself, like as if you intentionally misled yourself somehow. And there's such pain there, especially if it is to yourself or to some all-powerful force that you see. It's harder to forgive that, I think, than to forgive another human being, because we see other people as flawed, but it's harder to see source as flawed, or to see even ourselves as flawed, because we look at and we look at ourselves as being all powerful. I think sometimes, we make ourselves our own gods, thinking like, I can control everything, I can fix everything, I should have been smarter, I should have been better, I should have been more talented, I should have looked better, whatever it is. We hold ourselves to these insane, like, godlike standards. But something to hope for is actually a reason to hope, is that this is your only obstacle is heartbreak that you choose to continue to carry with you. That is what is keeping your world small. That is what is affecting your judgment when it comes to taking action. There isn't some, other being or other force that is out of your control that you need to fight or defeat in order to take aligned action in your life. The power rests solely with you. And that, if I were receiving this message, I would just think that gives me a lot of hope, because I have control over myself. The suffering's over when I decide it's over. And the suffering can be over for you. That is something to hope for, is that it will be over for you when you decide it's over for you. When you decide that pain and that heartbreak and that loss and grief was actually a really important lesson. And you can't jump the gun on that. You have to feel what you're feeling until you get to a point where you're sick of feeling it. And when it becomes unproductive to continue feeling it, it's like you've felt all of it, but then replaying it in your head doesn't help to re-feel those feelings. That's when we start to get obsessive. That's when we start to allow emotions, which are just passing pieces of information, to dictate our belief systems, to dictate what we believe about ourselves and about others. I'm seeing that this could be resulting in a lot of negative self-talk for you. But forgiveness, releasing pain, optimism, a cheery outlook on life, that's waiting for you. That's there for you. It already is yours as soon as you take it, as soon as you claim it. And that can so hugely expand your world. Because right now I do see that your world feels small. You kind of go in between being emotionless and overly emotional, and kind of very easily influenced by the judgments of others, as opposed to looking to your own judgment to make these kind of action decisions in your life. So of course you can't make these decisions if you're not going by your own judgment, but you're guessing at other people's judgment and trying to get it right. There's no way to live and to take action and to walk a path that's aligned with your own personal values when you're judging them against what you think are other people's values. It's an impossible task. You have such reason to hope, because healing is accessible to you. Your world feels small because the choices that you are making right now have made it feel small. You can turn this around so easily. This is within your power. Cluster 2. Wow, I've never noticed in this card too the scales being here with this 3 of Swords. It's like interesting to think about that, of like thinking about pain as like what's fair, and when does it cross a line into something that's imbalanced or unhealthy? When do I give it more value than it needs to have? The value that this pain and heartbreak has for you is the value of wisdom. It's a lesson. And it's not a lesson that is based in fear. It's not a lesson that limits how you move forward in life. It's actually, and if you're feeling that, you're taking the wrong lesson from it. It should be a lesson that expands you. It should be a lesson that makes your heart feel open and full and bright. And if it's not, then rethink what lesson you should be taking away from this heartbreak. Because that is the lesson that does that beautiful act to your heart. That's the lesson that is meant for you here. And if it's not doing that, that is not the takeaway. That, it's maybe a simple choice of that. That's the simple choice that's keeping you limited and small. Wow, such reason to have hope, cluster 2, because you can turn this around. Your guides and angels know you can turn this around. And they're not downplaying what the painful things that have happened to you. There's no denying that. It's just about what you choose to do with those things. A healing of vision also is a big piece of this hopelessness for you. Something that you can't see that affects this situation. Maybe I think it's the importance, excuse me, I'm yawning as I talk about rest and relaxation. I think it's the importance of rest, relaxation, meditation, contemplation, and also mental detachment. Choosing not to engage with certain mental practices anymore. It's funny, this looks like an eyeball. And then we have these swords coming in, these words, these thoughts, these beliefs. Not piercing it, in a negative way, but kind of like cutting off vision from certain things and redirecting it to other things. That's kind of how I'm seeing this Four of Swords for you. It's like your current vision may be only about certain words or certain thoughts or beliefs that you have, and you're missing these other ones. And there needs to be a mental detachment from certain mental practices, certain thoughts that you practice. Thoughts are a practice. Thinking is a practice. Rest and relaxation and meditation, just being aware of the moment and turning off the thinking brain, the thinking mind, the monkey mind, has such value for you right now. And that is a tool, that's an aid to your current situation that you're missing. My guess is that you're itching so much for action, for aligned action, that you feel like you can't spend time in stillness. You haven't earned that time in stillness. You can't afford to spend that time in stillness, when actually the opposite is true. The more time you spend in stillness and rest and relaxation and turning off that beta thinking, that problem-solving mind, that knowledge, the sooner you have access to wisdom, which doesn't come from that kind of chronic thinking. That comes from moments of silence. That wisdom comes from space. That wisdom comes from processing feeling and just being in the feeling without thinking about it, without judging it. That is a tool that's available to you right now, and it's something that you weren't seeing that could be a game changer here. Healing of the heart. This is healing of the vision, healing of the heart. I mean, we already see this emotional hurt that needs healing. It's clear that you have some emotional pain that the releasing of is completely possible for you, and it's there, and you will release it if you decide to release it, which I hope gives you a great deal of hope and encouragement to do so. But another piece of this emotional pain and heartbreak is this Princess of Discs or Page of Discs in reverse. That's interesting. It's like an inability to learn from failure, or a block to learning from failure, which is so similar to the Queen of Swords in reverse, you know, an inability to transmute pain into wisdom. It makes me wonder what attachments you have to your pain, what attachments you have to the heartbreak. Like, has it gotten to a point where you are defining yourself by this? Because if the ego is defining itself by this awful thing that happened to you, that is no doubt painful, you can't move past it because it makes up your identity now. We never want to absorb these things as our identity. We want them to, what's the word? For some reason the word decorate is coming to me. It's so funny. It's not the word I would use for this, but we want them to embellish us, you know? We want them to make us wiser, more multi-layered, nuanced human beings, thoughtful human beings. But we don't want to be our pain. We don't want to be our experiences, because then we can't move past those experiences because the identity depends on them. So interesting to see this here. Also, I'm seeing like lack of progress or procrastination as being a big part. Something in your heart that like needs forgiving with you. I don't know if it's like you thought you would be further along than you are right now. You thought you'd have more progress, and maybe there's a procrastination going on, or you're blaming yourself for procrastination. That's really hurting your heart. There's some kind of healing in the heart that needs to happen around your feelings around progress, or your feelings about achievement too, and failure. You know, those go hand in hand. So that might be something that you aren't letting yourself feel through right now. Same way that Four of Swords is like something you're not seeing. It's going to be something that you are not feeling. This is very connected to this central issue of the Knight of Wands being imbalanced, out of alignment. It's almost like the lack of progress slash resistance to learning from failure keeps you from taking aligned action in your life, action that is aligned with your values and what you say is important to you. The thing is that it's never too late to start this. It's never too late to take an action that's aligned with who you are. It doesn't matter if you have no progress, zero progress on that path. Action that's aligned, it's gratifying in itself, not because it's taking you to some destination. It's gratifying because you look at that and you say, that was aligned with what I felt was right and what I said was important to me. It's more like, let's see where that takes me. You know, when we're moving from this place as opposed to moving from a place of like, that's a destination I want to get to. I'll take whatever action I need in order to get there, which is so result oriented. This is more journey oriented. This is about having integrity with yourself on your own journey. And that's what allows you to then release the pressure of getting to a certain destination, because you can stand by every action that you took along the way, because they were all aligned with your values and your actions. And that's where we're seeing an issue here. Lack of progress, or focus on lack of progress, or hurt from lack of progress, or emotional hurt from procrastination, like taking those things personally, is somehow feeding into this Knight of Wands issue for you. Let's give us one more card, Spirit. Wow. Justice. Oh my God. Justice and the Emperor. If there is any reason I have hope, Cluster 2, it is because this can all be made right. Again, I'm not going to say will. I'm not a tarot reader who says what will happen to you, because you play a role in that. I empower you to play the role that you need to play in order to make your highest potential outcome happen for you. But I will say that to have justice here and the Emperor in reverse, the best potential outcome of this is that justice is delivered in a situation here that maybe has felt very unfair to you. If there have been things that have felt unfair, put your faith in justice. There's no guarantee of when justice will make things right, but if you have the truth on your side, and if you are acting from a place that is just, that is aligned with your truth, you can't lose. It might mean that you separate from the conventional, that you distinguish yourself from other more conventional paths and more conventional people. That's not a bad thing. In fact, individuating in this way could be the very thing that makes you whole and healed again. It makes me think a big part of this is trying to fit into some kind of shape that you are not, a square peg in a round hole. You're never going to win if that's what you spend your life doing. This is about embracing who you are in some way. Giving up structure, breaking rules in order to actually deliver justice. Sometimes justice does not align with power and with authority. Authority is not always right. And that's when it comes down to your personal moral integrity and values to do what's right for you and for others. So the best potential outcome is that you do depart in some ways maybe from convention or from society or from authority, what people are telling you is right. And you gain justice in that process. Justice is done to you through that process. What an incredibly powerful and hopeful message. I'm so happy this came out at the end, cluster 2, because holy smokes, I'm kind of wowed by this final message here. One other thought for some of you, something else that's coming through with this, is that another interpretation of the Emperor being reversed is that a big obstacle that you've dealt with here has been domination from others, or trying to dominate others, excessive control, in other words, either on your part or from other people, or a complete lack of control, a lack of discipline. Like maybe that's that procrastination, dealing with a complete lack of discipline, lack of structure, lack of control. And if that's your concern, then this is like saying that justice will be delivered to rebalance this out, to make that right. The excess or the lack has been unjust in some way. And the potential to balance that, to make that right, is possible for you. So if that doesn't give you hope, that possibility, and help you to take steps and action that will help realize that outcome, then I don't know what else could give you hope, because that really is such an empowering message. I'd love to hear how this looks specifically for you in your life, cluster 2. So please comment below, open up if you want to share. If you haven't liked or subscribed, please do so. I love you very much, and I will see you next time. Hello, those of you in the constellation, the collective cluster, who chose card number 3, the star in the Moon Power Tarot deck. I'm going to take a moment and call in Spirit, call in your guides, call in your angels. What are the messages for cluster number 3, star cluster number 3 here? We're looking for messages to reanimate their hope, their faith, reasons to be hopeful, things ahead, potential possibilities ahead that can give them hope. And strength and courage to also keep walking the path forward so that they actually reach those blessings. Whoa. Those really flew out. Okay, so we have the Five of Pentacles. Oh my God, we have the World. And we have the Nine of Swords. Wow, oh my goodness. And stars at the bottom of the deck again, as if we needed another affirmation that there's so much to be hopeful for you, Cluster 3. This really is beautiful. So, Five of Pentacles, oh my goodness, yeah, I totally have been here before. An area of your life that needs some harmony, that needs to be brought into balance and alignment is this Five of Pentacles area, which is your beliefs around whether you have enough, whether you are enough, or whether you're, what the line really between scarcity and abundance, and the beliefs around that. Oftentimes Five of Pentacles comes out to signify a scarcity mindset, a kind of a mindset of lack, of focus on that lack, of worrying, of never having enough, of the things that we have lost that contribute to this kind of poverty, whether it's a literal poverty or more of a mental, emotional, spiritual poverty. This is incredibly out of balance for you right now. This is an area of your life that is out of alignment, it's out of harmony. And it could be that you don't feel that you have enough right now. It could be that it could be a very literal lack, a literal scarcity. Maybe you do have needs that are not being met right now. Only you can determine whether or not it is the truth, whether you are not okay in this given moment because you do not have what you need, or whether you actually do, you're living a life in this present moment that shows a great deal of abundance and blessing. You know, you're eating good food that you want to eat every day. You have a comfortable bed. You have a home. You have a job. You have a community. And it's really that you have a mindset that you're just so afraid of losing these things that it really kind of gets in the way of your acknowledgement of what you do have, the abundance that you do have in your life. Only you can know which of these it is. A literal poverty or a poverty in the mind, or in the heart and the soul. That's another kind of poverty we haven't even really touched on, which is a kind of spiritual poverty, feeling like even though you have things on the outside, you feel empty on the inside. You know, even though you are okay, you don't feel okay. You feel like you are in a place of lack. You always feel like you are not enough, or you don't have enough, or you won't be enough. And that mindset, that belief is so, it's so out of alignment with the truth of who you really are. So no wonder you're suffering. No wonder you need hope right now. You feel hopeless. You feel faithless. Because whenever we feel that way, whenever we feel any kind of sense of not being enough, the reason that feels so bad is because it is so at odds with the truth of who we really are. It's so at odds with the truth of who you really are. And of course it doesn't feel comfortable believing a lie, you know, or living your life by some dishonest belief system that kind of like hijacks your brain and really gets into your thoughts. And we see that here with this Nine of Swords. You know, you're quick to find yourself in these anxiety, worry, fear spirals, whether you acknowledge it or not. This this is the healing of vision that needs to happen. There's something that you can't see that's affecting this situation, and it is your anxiety. It is your addiction to worry, to fear, to thought systems and words that keep you in this place of lack. Nine of Swords is definitely is a kind of internal poverty. If anything, it's an internal struggle that really is completely disconnected from our reality. We don't even see the world in which she's in. We only know that this is her state of being because her inner world is rich, but it is rich in a way that is so harmful to her well-being. It is creative, imaginative in all the wrong ways, and you might not be seeing how your imagination and your creativity, cluster 3, actually negatively impacts your view on reality and your view on abundance and lack and what you do and don't actually have. I mean, this is a kind of, when I'm in a Nine of Swords place, I think this is, I'm ill, it's a place of illness. But it's an illness that people can't see because you're not coughing, you don't have a fever, it's just, it's an infection of the mind that reveals itself in the words that we think. And it is playing a very big role in your current situation. The truth of your current situation, oh my God, the world is here. Hope. I mean, the reason to hope is that you actually do have the world in your hands. You have so much more power in this situation than you think you do. And there are certain things that are coming full circle for you. The world signifies completion, integration, and accomplishment. It's kind of something coming full circle to it's final iteration of itself, so that there can then be a rebirth and this renewal. And if you've been hoping for some kind of pattern to end, or for something to complete itself, or to integrate important lessons into your life, or integrate past experiences into wisdom in your life, like, that is possible for you. That's here for you. That's waiting for you in the future, should you walk the steps towards it, towards that future. The world is just the culmination of everything that you have worked for, and that you've sacrificed and you've done, and the paths that you've chosen for one extreme and then another extreme. It's the integration of all those extremes into this place of balance and harmony. And that is completely possible for you. You really can have it all, is the message that I see with the world. I mean, that is all of it. She's holding that in her two hands. A big part of the world, though, of this completion and this integration and this accomplishment comes from recognizing that extremes will always exist. Duality is a part of our existence, and we can't sacrifice one extreme for another. It's more that we have to accept all that there is and hold space for all that is, and then find our peace in that space, in that spectrum. And that peace is a completely valid possibility for you, cluster 3. You have the world at your fingertips. And that's the obvious message I keep seeing here. You have the world at your fingertips, the world in your hands. It's your world. Your world is in your hands. And that's a big thing too, is that you can't necessarily sculpt life for someone else, but you can sculpt it for yourself. You can affect how you feel on a daily basis by carefully cultivating the garden of thoughts that you grow every day, what you choose to water versus what you choose to prune. And These are little things, but they are such potent tools to building our reality, building our world. And that there is a world, there's a timeline for you that exists that is so full of abundance, full of gratitude, one where you have everything, where you have the world at your fingertips. But it comes down to you playing an active part in accessing that timeline. It doesn't just fall in your lap. It's part of it. It's the result of practice. It's the completion. It's the destination after a journey, and that's also where we get into these world, the meaning, some other meanings of the world of completion, of integration, of something coming full circle. If you've been waiting for the other shoe to drop, it's going to drop. If you've been waiting for closure on something, that closure is there for you. That closure is either here or it's on its way. So this should give you a great deal of hope as you move forward through this time of hopelessness. Have the courage and strength now by getting this glimpse into this potential future. Give us a few more cards, Spirit. Oh my God, this is Knight of Wands has come out in literally every group spread, different positions, but that is fascinating. I'm seeing a lot of issues with taking aligned action for people right now, acting from a place of alignment within themselves, of their integrity and their values versus what they think is expected of them or what they think they should be doing. Give us one more card, Spirit. Seven of Swords. I want to pull one more card to clarify that. Thank you. Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords in reverse. Beautiful. So, to start with first, the Knight of Wands. So there's some emotional hurt, something that needs healing, similar to that what you can't see, what you're having. There's a healing of vision that needs to happen with this Nine of Swords. There's a healing of the heart that needs to happen with this Knight of Wands. Somewhere along the way, your heart has been hurt, injured, wounded, due to some action maybe that you did or didn't take, aligned with your passion, aligned with your mission and sense of purpose. Something that you felt very energized to do. That maybe led you to a dragon, and or dragons in the sky there. That maybe led you to a challenge. And so it's sometimes hard to be acting from a place of love versus fear, which is this, when we've had past experiences where we did follow our heart in something and we feel like it failed us in some way, or it led to something painful. A painful experience does not mean it was a bad outcome. Especially if we ran away from it once we encountered it. It's almost like we didn't let it come full circle. We didn't see the completion of where that painful experience was leading us. If it led us there and then we ran away, this tells me that there's something in your heart that hurts regarding your relationship with action aligned with your integrity and with your values. And only you can. I would love to hear in the comments what that is for you. If you feel like that backfired in some way, if you feel like your heart has never been open enough to take this kind of action, if there were people in your life who you have a great deal of love and respect and admiration for, who you felt like you needed to do other action in order to be accepted and loved by them. Maybe it completely opposed, like other people's wishes opposed your own sense of purpose and duty and mission in your life. And so you have a very complicated relationship with action that feels in alignment with who you are and with what's important to you. Regardless, this is a well of pain for you. This is a well of heartbreak for you, and it's something that is very much affecting your heart and the openness of your heart to allow hope in, because your heart is contracted by this. So, or by this issue, by this realm in your life. So that's something to look at specifically, to see if there's healing in the heart that you can do to allow yourself then, that will make space really for you to then feel hopeful. This is definitely connected with this Five of Pentacles lack or lack mindset. Maybe it's something as simple of a connection of like, if I follow my heart, if I act on what's in my heart, if I act on what is aligned with me and what I'm passionate about, it will result in lack. Like I won't get enough from it, or I won't be enough. And that's leading to this kind of mindset. Like it's almost like you're stuck in a place of operating in this lack mindset, out of fear of doing what you actually want to do or what you feel is right to do. It's just a very fearful way of determining your steps and your actions. It's again more like choosing what I should do in order to have enough or be enough, not what feels right to me. Because maybe I'm interpreting that as almost a direct threat, like what feels right to me directly threatens the abundance I'll have in my life, me being taken care of, me having enough, me being enough. So that's a really interesting relationship between these two cards, and it's a big part of this hopelessness and faithlessness for you right now. It's almost like you've hit a wall because of this. This maybe worked for you for a certain point, and now you feel you're so spiritually depleted, emotionally depleted, that it's not working anymore. And so that's what's resulting in this lack of hopelessness and faithlessness, because this is the only way you've operated in the past. It's like, of course you'd feel hopeless if it's like, this is the way I've been doing it and it's not working, and these beliefs keep me from trying something else, or from trying the opposite, really. That's a recipe for feeling trapped and restricted. Of course that's going to make you feel hopeless. We also have the Seven of Swords and I think I said Eight of Swords, but this is the Six of Swords. That's so interesting. One right after the other. So Seven of Swords, yeah, this is so interesting. To have this reverse, it's I'm interpreting this a few different ways. I mean, this is what a mask, first of all, to be wearing. And either this is someone that is in your life that you feel has betrayed you or is deceiving you in some way, or this is a kind of self-deceit, and we see that because this Six is turned on itself. The best potential outcome here is that you, first of all, you heal yourself by healing others, helping other people get through some sense of imposter syndrome, which is often what this can mean. Or you help others, you counsel others in a way that helps them embrace their true selves, as opposing, instead of choosing the version of themselves that they think other people want them to be or expect them to be. This is something that you can do for other people, and you help yourself in the process, because it's that you can counsel people well in this way. But when it comes to counseling yourself, there's trouble there. It's hard to do that. So this is something, a way to bring some healing and harmony into your life. I'm seeing another interpretation of this is that the best potential outcome of all of this, when you embrace this hope, when you counter this 9 of Swords anxiety and really push up against that and question it and poke holes in it, because it isn't real, it's a figment of your mind, you undergo an incredible personal transformation that allows you to take the mask off. You undergo an incredible personal transition that kind of recreates your world. I mean, we see this snake imagery here. It's like shedding of a skin, you know? And funny, the snake is leashed, but that snake can escape that leash very easily by shedding its skin. It's like almost like saying its current skin that it wears, you know, the current mask that it wears, how it presents to other people is limiting. It's something that is controlled by other people, and it keeps them in the control of other people by keeping that skin on, by wearing that costume. You don't have to wear this costume anymore. And the best potential outcome is that you shed your skin, you undergo some incredible personal transformation. You sail to a new land, you create a new life for yourself. I'm just saying that metaphorically. It doesn't have to be like, don't literally move unless that actually is resonating with you. But you get over some kind of resistance to changing yourself. Allow yourself to change. And then the way you change is actually by dropping what was fake about you in the first place. Dropping the mask you've been wearing. Dropping the costume. Dropping the skin that was actually never yours to begin with. You change in a way that allows you to reveal more of your authentic self. It's not about putting something on, it's about taking things off, pulling these masks off, pulling this tape off, and seeing your real eyes and hearing your real words, as opposed to the words of other people that have burrowed their way into your head so deeply, you know, criticism from others, judgment from others, that it's almost like you're confusing those for being your own voice now. The best potential outcome is that you completely transition out of this. You undergo this incredible transformation that allows you to embrace and fully be your authentic self. There is no more self-betrayal, self-deception, but also no more deception from other people, because this is the thing. It's like when we deceive ourselves, we think it's only ourselves that is the person instigating the deceit. But it's really not true, because if we're showing up in our day-to-day life and we're not being our authentic selves, then the experiences we create for ourselves aren't necessarily authentic either. Why? We draw people to us that are not actually drawn to us, but they're drawn to this masked version of us. They're drawn to the costume. You know, it facilitates experiences, relationships, conversations that we wouldn't even be having if we were being and embracing our authentic selves. So if you're worried about other people being fake with you or betraying you, look to yourself first, because the role you play in that is by not showing a certain amount of yourself either, by deceiving them to a certain degree. And this should give you so much hope, Cluster 3, that there is room for transformation here. You can transform your entire life into one that is so much more aligned with your personal truth by taking off your own mask. And the best potential outcome here is that you do take off your own mask and you actually embrace the entire world that's waiting at your fingertips. I want to hear what this looks like specifically for you, so please comment below and share if you feel called to. If you haven't liked or subscribed, please do so. I am so happy that you're here, Cluster 3. I hope this instilled some hope back into your spirit. I love you very much, and I'm rooting for you as always. I'll see you next time.